Okay, so part two, I guess. We're gonna be doing the prep. I'm gonna show you how to get these out. I'm gonna be using this bad boy. I watched somebody do it like this when I was probably 16, and I've just done it ever since. But there's another way you can go about it. I'll tell you here in a minute. But we're gonna be sanding this down to about 220. We'll probably start around 80 and go to 220. And then I'm gonna throw some Z epoxy on there just to kind of seal in the grain right in here where I put that dowel pin. And the way you kind of work that is you'll take like an old debit card or something that you don't need anymore, a Polaroid picture of your ex-girlfriend or something you don't need anymore, and you'll just kind of put that on there and smear it on your open grain, and that'll seal up, and you'll sand it back and you'll do it again. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started and kind of show you how to get these out. I may have to cut it real quick to set it up, but I'll be right back. Okay, so basically you'll just take a rag to protect your finish, and you'll just take this and kind of wedge it in there, and you'll just pull up. It's actually pretty easy. If you're not comfortable doing this pry bar technique, I've heard of people like drilling a little screw in there and then pulling up on the screw and it pops it out. Just kind of however you want to do it. Also, I did make it around to putting some epoxy down in here to seal this up. That's not going to move. It's ugly. I'm going to probably put some wood filler in there to try to make it prettier, but it's not going to cause any issues. Once again, if you want to keep that from happening, drill your holes before you do your route and punch them in there. Those bushings, go ahead and hammer them in before you make this weak. I kind of skipped ahead where I drilled through the body. I wasn't really thinking. I just tried to continue. If you drill through the body, don't continue. Just kind of wait for that glue to dry, re-drill, hammer in. Just don't go ahead and make your routes, or you will have that happen. So you just want to kind of shove this in here, and it's just gonna pop out. I'm gonna move to this end because I got a little bit more leverage, and that's out of there. That was pretty easy, pain-free. I'll go ahead and do the other one, and I'll talk at you for a minute. When I watched that video of some guy doing this, he was in a RV camper, and people hated so much on that video, saying how they would do it another way. But I mean, this works like really fast. You just have to be pretty careful. That's out of there. I guess I will go ahead and kind of explain some more about what we're doing here. We've got this value pack, and that's just got from 60 grit up to 220. I think I'm going to start with 80, and I'm going to put that on this circle sander. You don't have to use this. You can actually just use sandpaper, do it by hand. I did many like that, especially if you're not taking all the paint off. You can get by with hand. I'm not going to explain like proper technique or anything because you've probably watched the same videos at this point that I have. But for the sides and stuff, I recommend by going hand anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up. One thing I will mention, if you haven't seen any videos on how to sand your guitar, you don't want to turn this on and then stick it on there. You actually want to start here and then work your way around. Just start on the body, because if you say turn it on up here and then come down like this, you might put some scratches in there you won't be able to get out. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and get that ready to rock. It's been extremely cold. I recommend maybe if you're in a closed area or just even like a tool shed like I'm in, you know, put a mask on. I've got one on today, just because it's kind of cold too. So it's not really your standard like painter's mask, but it's gonna keep my boogers from being the color of this guitar. Nobody wants that. It's not gonna kill you, but I mean, it's pretty annoying. Okay, so got the 60 grit sandpaper on there. I lied a little bit and said I was gonna start with 80. No big deal. Sander's getting a little old. It's not wanting to start up for me so easy. I have to kind of press it in using this. If it works, is it, I mean, really that bad? It does not take much to kind of gum them up. If you kind of see here. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got the guitar in my lap. I'm just going now the places I was afraid to go with the power sander. If you spend most of your time in the prep, it really saves you time like later. Even whenever it comes to like these more coarse grits, like if you spend the time here, you're not gonna be suffering later. even when you move up a grid. I've went from 60 to the 80 now. I'm just kind of getting the areas where I couldn't go. I've already kind of hit this once with some 60. I'm going again with, or I guess I'm going with some 80. Yep. Sorry. Mine's kind of everywhere today. Going through it. Hurting Linda. Hurting bad, Linda, I should say. Kind of make sure that you go with the contour on this. You're definitely not wanting to make this some kind of weird boxy mess. You're definitely not going to strip it all, but like you're going to smooth that down, and it's going to be even with what you got up here. This area is going to be your hardest if you've never done this before, which I assume you kind of have, but you can't really get in there very good at all. Kind of saving that for here in a moment. I don't want you to see me struggle too much. But I'm just kind of going through here before I move up to, I believe 120 is my next grit. And then we're going to be doing 220, then I'll do the epoxy grain fill. Okay, so this next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to use the epoxy. I'm going to try to seal up where I've had that dowel and kind of seal up some other places. Before I had this guitar, it was a Relic. So that means it's just got all kinds of dings in it. And yeah, stuff's not too good to keep when you're trying to refinish. And this should cover all that up. I've sanded most of them pretty fine, and I have, you know, kind of put wood filler where I needed it. But this is going to seal the grain. And it's good that we're doing this too, because I kind of sanded through some of the sealer on here. So basically, you want to get that mixed up as good as you can, and then you'll take a Bondo putty knife, an old card, an old Polaroid picture of your ex-girlfriend, something that you won't really need to use anymore, and you'll stick a certain amount on here. And you'll just kind of work with it the best you can. If you made it this far in the video, maybe comment the word Mustang so I can see if anybody's even watching this stuff. Just started, you know. I'd like to get a another bullet Mustang and maybe do like a affordable paint job on it or something, and do a start to finish video. That way I can have a better video of how to do this, because I kind of started in the middle of the project. Okay, at this point I'm gonna scrape and then wipe off the excess onto a rag. I'm gonna scrape all the way down, wipe off the excess, and just kind of repeat that.